Welcome to One Word I'm Sophia, pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue exploring our equestrian era characters. That's horse-centered civilization carriers, I would say. Okay, Ji is today's character. And again, simplified traditional differ in the horse icon, and the traditional kept the original, like keep it pretty real to its 2000 years ago rendering, which from here you can see four legs, horse tail, and horse mane. The main features of this animal is cat. And horse is I guess, a culturally esteemed animal. And this whole equestrian civilization is built around the horse. And we today came across this G character. Without doing one word a day, I never took notice of this character, nor did this character, I don't remember, would show up in my reading in Chinese. It's simply, we don't use it anymore because we live way after the equestrian civilization dominance time. So the differentiation or appreciation of horses, different species, different breed of the horses was preserved in like British or Arabic culture that still have a close hanging on to this equestrian civilization, including like Hermes or Hermes, the French leather making brand, luxury brand that, you know, set they have this tie to the horse riding culture because for a long time that was the war, how the war was conducted, how the world travel was conducted. So horse was still important in some cultures, but in my contemporary civilization, which I grew up in this under China in this region, that's agriculture centric, the farming centric culture, and horse was simply on the fringe, on the margin, like only is the back, almost like an inconvenient truth for Chinese, because throughout the history, the dynasties come and go, and oftentimes it was due to the pressure and the forces from the nomadic people on the steppe, this region. You can see from the northern, that's why Chinese have built Great Wall. We try to segregate civilizations. So keep the horse people up to the north. Don't bother us. But you know, sometimes they can fight over. So Ji, even if it's no longer in my current use, contemporary Chinese, but you can see I can still type it out in the Chinese entry, both in simplified and traditional. So that means it's preserved in the language, and that means we recognize as a culture this, you know, language and civilization capsule in that character. We can still see it today. So it means thoroughbred. 即 thoroughbred. Okay, I don't know much about horse world. So thoroughbred apparently are often used in horse riding, which, you know, in former British colony, Hong Kong, they still have this horse riding horse races, right? So it's gambling. And you can imagine the type of the breed of horses who would be the winners. That matters a lot because money tied to it, right? So thoroughbred was set to be mostly racing horses. So that means the top speed, the best of the best used in there. Chinese express Ji, okay, because it's my first time I ever came across this character. And to unpack this right side is Ji. It is a region in China currently in use, which on this steppe culture spread is conveniently located on this. There's almost a letter N of Yellow River shape on the top, like over here. Like this is close to the contemporary region that Chinese use one character, which is Hebei. He means Huanghe. Huanghe, this Yellow River's north this portion, as you can see here, is close to Mongolia, close to the original steppe culture. And Chinese associate that region with thoroughbred. And I would imagine because the steppe civilizations, they are the horse raiders, horse breeders, horse riders. They feed on the horse, travel on the horse. So it's essential to that culture. So for Chinese, this, around the Yellow River civilization, they probably don't know much about horse, right? So they would import thoroughbred from the northern part and associated with this region, which is probably most horse trade happen. Okay, so thoroughbred is not only denoted by that region, which tied with this culture, but if you look at it a little bit deeper on there, it's interesting. Here, this character means north, and that already gave you the direction of this in relative to the Yellow River-based Chinese cultural civilization is northern to it, right? And this north is made of two human figures back to back. And this back means it's back to the south because Chinese culture, not only left facing, but they are south facing as well. So south facing is the default direction of house building. So for Chinese, feng shui, the wind water, saying that if you build your personal space, we always prefer the house, the windows, the doors are facing the south, the sunset, because of the geography. And north would be back to the south. So that's why back-to-back image is used as the north. And then we have this kind of spoke wheel, right? In other contexts, it will be wheel. But in this context, because we have human hand finger here, to left and right hand. Okay, left and right hand means you double hand holding something. That means you're handling something with care, with respect. And then you have this table with two legs. Okay, that's exactly what that is. It's a table with two legs, a surface used for offering something. So this is related to, I would almost say, human sacrifice type of, still very far away from our current civilization. It's hard to imagine. But this is not human sacrifice, but this offering table is a offering to the gods, to the divinity, for the ancient, like Paleolithic civilization, to as a way to bargain, to negotiate like favorable conditions for our existence, right? So this two hand, this symbol together with the two hands, probably you're handling something with care. And this looks like a spoke, but in this context, it could be, it's really hard to see. One version of it is this spoke looking thing is a head of the ghost. Okay, in Chinese, we have this different categories of beings. Living being is one type of being. After death, the ghost existence, in English, we have such a word. That means, both cultures recognize this. So this ghostly existence, Chinese would use this circle with a cross in the middle. It's almost like a warning sign, like a danger. It's something exotic, it's alien. So Chinese use that, end up with this ghost head imagery, with this offering table, with double hand, that's respect. Together, it means some people who look different from you. Till today, Chinese would say 鬼老, Cantonese would say 鬼老, means ghost old man. Okay, ghost old man is Cantonese almost diminishing, derogatory term for foreigners. So people who did not come or born from this land, then we will regard outsiders as 鬼老. So it's associated with ghost head. So apparently this goes not only the dead people, but to people who look different from you. So as you can see, this culture is pretty, I guess, close in the sense of they try to keep out of the steppe nomadic people, and they don't they have this big ocean on the side, so they're pretty much with themselves. And if there are people come look different from them, that will be they will use this quite discriminatory word that's e like different, like people who are differ from the norm, which is the locals. They are not from here, and they would regard it as that. But it handle with care and respect. I guess that's how you handle aliens. You don't know what it can do to you, right? Handle with care and coming from the north. So basically, this character almost to me, like it's this agriculture society is referring to people from the north who look different from them, and they have to handle it with care. Um, so that's associated with this horse specialized people, Aquarian society, that this type of horse from that region, raised by this weird looking people and totally culturally, habitually different from us, as thoroughbred. 既不称其力，称其德也. Okay, since this is first time I ever see this character, so I don't ever recall any contemporary Chinese expressions that incorporate this thoroughbred imagery. And here is from an ancient text. And you can see here this ye is confirming almost like a yes. I mean, yeah, sound like a yes as well. So it's like after you make a statement and you say yes, that means I'm done with my statement and it's positive. Okay. So here we're just saying thoroughbred because it's too long. So I just switch it out, means talent. And you can see if it is a thoroughbred, that means they are not only steed, but they are thoroughbred steed. That means they're used in racing. So they're the fastest guys, right? And we often use the horse term on humans because I guess humans respect the horse enough that they would appropriate some horse qualities or classifications among humans. So 技不称其力，称其德也 here is talking about people who are the, I guess, highest pedigree, right? And then they are not evaluated. They're not evaluated by their force because if they are highest pedigree, that most likely they're probably in the human world, that will be aristocrats, some ruling class people. Of course, they're not going to be measured by their force, right? They're not ruled with their muscle power, at least not their own. And then 称其德也 means they are evaluated or measured by their morals. So here is a expression, of course, is the rude, I guess the intelligentsia class back then, or talking back to the rulers. The ruler has owed right to kill, to permit, or whatever, right? It's nobody dared to talk to a ruler in any rush terms, I guess, back then. But for people whose profession is to be the voice of reason or the voice to help the rulers to rule, so they coined this expression to tell the rulers, like the top pedigree, they're not you cannot win the people or rule by your brute force. You're actually ruled by your moral sense. So you're kind of have the sense of you're doing something good for the people, right? Even if they're the ruler, they're supposed to be the opposing side of the people. But if you can view it from where one of the people, you build a society for the people, 称其德, your moral guidance is for the people, then that's a better way to rule than brute force. Okay, 事不伐计. Here is an expression to say that the world is not in short supply of talents or the good pedigree. So here is probably saying like your generic or genetic advantage can only carry you so far because, okay, gene holders, plenty of them in the world. So what differentiates you, even if you come from a high pedigree background, then there are plenty, there are still plenty of them, but not every one of them make an impact to the world. So that's like unset condition is the message there. Okay, so here we have thoroughbred, 季. They're most likely these racing horses. They're not all thoroughbred, but thoroughbreds are more likely to be, or they are more likely to be thoroughbred, even if they're not all of them thoroughbred. All right, thank you for your time. See you next.